WP Bosses episode number 21. We're here with Kate Toon and we're here with Nik. Nik is somewhere over in the Philippines, but tell us more about you, Nik. Who are you?
Well, I'm sort of rapidly sort of cruising around the Philippines at the moment. I'm currently in Davao. I fly back out to Cebu tomorrow and then I'll head back to Australia at some point. I run a web development business called Positive Business Online. Happen to have just met another Australian here called Peter Moriarty. So he's been here and he's got a team in Davao as well too. So I've been struggling all day with internet and fortunately it's just come right. So I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. Glad we can hear and see you, Nik. I'm Robey Lawrence and I run a WordPress consulting business called Bearded Friend because I have a beard and I like to think that I'm also your friend. And we also like to run this WP Bosses podcast, which is for Australians in the WordPress community. So it's really cool because we all get to meet lots of nice people like Kate. Kate, can you tell us, who are you?
Hello, I'm Kate Toon, and I guess I'm not an official WordPress person. I don't build WordPress sites, but I built all my own sites, and I have 8.
But you're very involved in the community.
I am, and I was just telling my friend who I'm staying with in their random flat about the community and explaining why I love the WordPress community so much and what lovely humans they all are. And I very much like the WordCamp events, and I met both of you guys through those events, and you seem vaguely normal. Not 100%, but
kinda.
Kinda.
I'll have to work a bit harder on that then.
Well, a little bit, but no, I love WordPress, and I'm a geek at heart. Although I'm a copywriter and an author and do lots of other things, I do love fiddling with my plugins, as we all do.
So, getting straight into it, how did you get into this whole kind of ecosphere of plugins and WordPress and even SEO to begin with? What were you doing back in your younger years when you left high school, assuming you went to high school?
No, I was raised by wolves. I was 27. No, I worked in advertising for a very, very long time, running digital advertising agencies. And then when I was about 30 something, I got pregnant and I had to leave my job, not because they didn't like pregnant people, but because it was a full-time agency job and I couldn't do that. So I started my own business, which was katetoon.com, very imaginative business name. And I did everything and anything. And one thing I learned how to do quite early on was build a basic WordPress site, which to us, obviously, there's a lot of difference between a basic site and a good one, but to lots of normal humans, being able to build a basic 4-page website, they were like, wow. So that's how I started, charging like $200 for a website. 10 years. That was 10 years ago, though.
Okay, so you were building websites for other people at the start.
Yeah, at the beginning, for very little money, I built a magician's website, which is still the same now. Like, he hasn't even updated it. But
must have been good.
It stood the test of time.
It did. I think it had playing cards and black background and white text, classic. And I loved it. I've always loved it. And then I kind of moved on to do copywriting and SEO and lots of other things. But, I've always really enjoyed being able to build my own websites. And I have WordPress courses and stuff now, but I focus more on the SEO side of it than the kind of WordPressy side of it a little bit. If that makes sense.
What led you to that? What led you to the SEO and copywriting side of things?
Well, I've always been a writer, and in agency land, I was a copywriter for big brands like IBM and Microsoft for a couple of years. SEO, it doesn't feel like a niche now, but 8 years ago, it felt like a niche. There weren't many women in SEO, and there weren't many people in SEO who weren't idiots, can I say that? Who weren't, I was going to say fish oil salesman, but I think it's snake oil, isn't it?
Snake oil, yeah.
Fish oil's good.
Fish oil's good.
Yeah. So I wanted to, but my goal was not to kind of do SEO for other people, but to teach people how to do SEO themselves, because it isn't some magic juju. It's all actually very, very doable if you know what you're doing. So that's why, really. I just wanted to give back.
Yeah, cool. And were you, I can't help but notice you have a little bit of an accent. Were you in Australia at the time, or
Yeah, so I bobbed back and forth. I came over here when I was about 24 and got a job at Ogilvy, which is a big ad agency. And then I kind of went back just to see what it was like and realized I'd made a horrible mistake. Worked in London for about 3 years, saving up the money to pay off my debts and come back. And I've been here ever since. And I shall never leave, for I love Australia very much. So, yeah.
If we have awkward pauses, we'll just cut them out.
Yeah,
I was just waiting to see if Nik had something to say.
I think we should so leave that awkward pause. It was beautiful. It was beautiful because we were both waiting for Nik to contribute, and Nik's just like, I thought he'd frozen again.
I'm just a little bit distracted as well because there's all sorts of things happening around here, and when the door opens here, there's this big sort of rumble as it sort of opens across the doorway there. So I'm just trying to mute my microphone so you can't hear it all.
We can't hear nothing.
I can't ask you anything.
It just looked like you'd gone into sort of like a little happy place for a while. You just kind of went like this.
Well, that does happen sometimes.
So Nik, if I can just say, your internet connection actually seems a lot more stable now than when you're at home.
Actually, this has actually been the best it's been all day as well, too.
Let's enjoy it while it lasts.
Yes, indeed. So, but I do have a sort of, is it a comment or a question? But I was speaking to someone the other day, and it might have been a couple of months ago, and happened to say that I was hanging out with Kate Toon at WordCamp in Sydney, and she said, "Well, Kate Toon, the Kate Toon." She said, "She's a really big deal, in circles in SEO." I said, "Oh, yeah, that's the one. That's one. She's a friend of mine." So
yeah.
It was good to be able to sort of say that I knew some SEO royalty or whatever. But how did you get so famous?
I think I've worked really, really hard at building a personal brand. I know that sounds really a little bit kind of wanky, but it's really important. And it's especially important with SEO, especially where SEO is going in the next couple of years. It's getting harder and harder to be found on Google for what you do. And therefore it's getting easier to kind of be found for who you are. So building up your own name, your own business name through things like podcasts. I have 3, and writing books and speaking at events. I've spoken at 37 events this year. It's a lot of events.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. And you meet a lot of people. And if you make that personal contact, they remember you. And I also work hard on social media. It's not actually working hard. I am myself on social media, and I'm personable and I'm friendly because I enjoy social media and I enjoy people. So it's easy for me to be a personal brand that people remember because I also remember a lot of people. I like people. It just makes it easier. So I think it's just literally I've met a lot of people and I'm vaguely pleasant. And I think
you seem to be fairly friendly, and I think you like me, so it must be right.
Vaguely normal.
Vaguely normal. No, but and events like WordCamp, which we've been to a couple of times, what a great event it is, and how nice and affable and easygoing everybody is, and how egoless I think everybody is. That's what I love about the WordPress community. There really aren't many, big swinging idiots around. Everyone's pretty chill, and those are my people. So
that's just all nerds.
It's because we're geeks, and I'm a geek, and I found my people. That's it. When you find your tribe, it all kind of works out. So
yeah, and I think you're definitely right about your personal brand. I don't know if it's just recently, but definitely it's what I've found is people just want to deal with people, and if they know the person behind the brand or behind the business, they're much more happy to deal with you and to trust you, and it's the same kind of thing. I want to deal with a person on the other end who's a client. I don't want to deal with a brand or a business or someone who says, "Oh, look, I'm a really big business. It would be a great opportunity if you were to work for me."
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of companies make that mistake of thinking they need to present themselves as a we, when really it's just you in your garage working away on websites. I think there's nothing wrong with that because, working with a copywriter, a designer, or a WordPress developer, it's quite an intimate relationship. You're laying your business out on the table. You're trying to make people understand you and hoping they're going to create something that works for you. I think that one-to-one thing is so important. And as you said, building up trust, how do you do that? By being honest, by sharing your ideas and your authority, and also by sharing your highs and your lows. So I think that's been very powerful for me. I don't just share the good stuff. I have a lot of good stuff in my business, but I have bad stuff too, and I share that as well. And I think that makes you more human and more memorable, maybe.
It sounds a bit too authentic, though.
I'm an authentic. I'm so authentic. But it isn't. It's just not. I think authentic has become such a buzzword. I think it's just being yourself and knowing that not everyone's going to like you. I mean, look, lots of people have met Nik Cree. He's deeply, deeply unlikable. But when you do like him, you love him. And, you know, I think marketing is as much about repelling as it is about attracting. So accepting that not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay, is a big part of having a successful business. And that's worked really well for me. I'd rather be, pistachio chocolate chip with whatever ice cream than vanilla, because no one remembers.
So does that mean that if it's about repelling and attracting, that you can really develop a good niche business by repelling as many people as possible, because then you've only got 2 people that actually like you. So that's really niche.
As long as those 2 people have loads and loads of money, I think that would work.
But have you been finding the same thing recently, Nik? You've been sharing a lot more of your highs and lows on social media. How have you found that feedback?
Well, actually, it has been fascinating, actually, I have to say. Very, very interesting and quite an unexpected sort of way. Because I shared sort of a lot of stuff that's not the good stuff. So, you know, everything that went wrong with my life and what happened and, you know, what a disaster the whole thing was. And the more I shared that, the more people liked me and the more people that wanted to come and do business with me. And it's like really weird. Why would you want to do business with a failure? Sure, you want to sort of do business with someone that's successful, but no, that's not quite true. People like sort of seeing, I don't know, I think it's sort of like reality TV on social media, but it's true, it's not contrived. So, and the impact of it all has been that we've created a meetup group here on the coast, which from day one had, we have about 50 odd people applying. We had 35 people turn up. Next one was about the same again. And it's just created, you know, like a community of people that sort of, it's almost like they come together and it's like, oh, here's the real person. I actually want to be part of this. So, it was an unexpected and fascinating sort of experiment. I've run out of things to say now. Like I've done all the bad things in life, so I've got to go and do some other bad things so that you know, I can keep going.
You'll have to take up crack or something. I'll become a meth addict. just to keep your business going and have some more stories to tell. Okay.
Well, I'm trying not to get kidnapped here, so but I'm sure that'll still work really well. But
yeah, I think it just comes down to being honest. And like you said, sharing what you're not good at, because then when you share what you're not good at or what you're bad at, then it makes the things that you are good at or the good things stand out even more.
That's really true. And I think it's also just about being human. And, you know, it doesn't have to be some great sob story or some amazing achievement. Like even just, you know, the posts I write that are really tedious, like talking about the fact that I didn't get much sleep last night or blah, 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 blah. You know, it's not the most exciting post ever, but people respond to that because probably they didn't either. And there's this whole marketing idea that, you know, you're walking past a chemist and there's a sign in the window saying, do you have itchy feet? And 100 people will walk past that window and go, no, I don't have itchy feet. But for the person that does have itchy feet, they're going to respond to that. They're going to be in that shop and they're going to be buying that itchy foot powder straight away. And really, how many itchy feet people do we need to make our business a success? How many websites do you want to build a month? How much money do you want to make? It's not about appealing to everybody. It's about appealing to some people really, really hard. That's what I think.
So building the tribe, really?
It's a gang. I like to think of it more as a gang with like flick knives and jackets. I don't want to try. I want a gang. And we go around menacing people. That's what I want.
And there's
yeah, I could do that.
Do you think there's an element of, I'm going to coin a new word here, I think it's a new word. Do you think there's an element of unbranding that you need to do to repel those people that you're not going to? So for example, my brand is Bearded Friend and my logo is a big black beard. And I've kind of done that to repel the more kind of corporate style, I'm trying to attract people who have a bit more, I guess, playfulness, or who are willing to, just work with someone a bit more creative and not so corporate and sterile.
I 100% think that. I mean, I love your brand, and I think it stands out. And I, on my contact form, have a really stupid question. It was before I could discover capture, and I wanted a way of making sure that people were real. So I asked this question: what's your second favorite flavor of jam? And the way, it's just a question, people type in and answer. It's a really bad capture idea. I don't know why I was thinking. The way that people answer that question tells me so much about them and whether I want to work with them, because the people who are like, don't answer it, they're not my people. The people who answer it and say, I have no idea what this question means and I don't want to fill it in, they're not my people. But the people who answer it and say things like pearl jam or toe jam or bacon jam or Nutella, that's a jam, they're my people. I'm going to enjoy working with them a lot because they've got a bit of a sense of humor. They get my sense of humor. And the thing is, when you're a service-based business, it's a dating game. You're as much choosing the client as they are choosing you, because we've all worked with clients who are just, it's like getting blood from a stone. Every conversation with them is horrible. You dread dealing with them. And, the joy of having your own business is that you get to pick your clients, and you can pick the fun ones, the ones that you enjoy working. The job can be boring. I've written about pipes and scrubbers and all kinds of boring things. But if I love the client, I love the job. So yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So the secret is, how do you repel those ones that you've already got the pain and the proverbials, and we just want to get rid of them? Do you want some of mine?
You just fake. You have to fake your own death. You have to fake your own death. You have to do that kidnapping thing.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll organise it. We'll put you in the back of a van in a bin bag, and then
they'll start to feel sorry for me, and they'll like me again. And they want to
stay with me. No. You're doomed.
Yeah, I have a similar thing in my project onboarding form. I have a question is at the end, is there anything else you want to get off your chest? And so a couple of my favorite clients one of them is like, I ate straight from the Nutella jar twice this week.
I love that.
And then there was another one who said, is there anything you want to get off your chest? And he said, nothing but hair.
You see, those are your people. And when you find those people like that, it's like finding a good avocado. You only press your thumb on the top of the avocado and it's just perfect. And you're like, we are going to have good times on this project. And you're probably going to appreciate me. We're going to have good chats. We're going to communicate well. And really, once you've been in business for a long time, it's obviously about the money. And there's obviously a degree of satisfaction. But a lot of it for me is about the relationships with the people that I meet. That's what keeps me going. That's what makes me want to wake up in the morning. It's not the extra $500 in my bank account. It's am I going to enjoy working today and chatting to these people? I think that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
And well, that's quite true, because I come over in the Philippines now, just love it, because I get to meet with my team. And we have a whole lot of experiences together that we just don't get on Skype. And I was talking to a group of people before I left, and I said, my team's in the Philippines, and we do things a particular way. And but the way I said it, for them, it resonates. So you're not like everybody else that just goes and hires outsourcers to flick out a project there. It's crap when it comes back, and it's just a whole pile of disappointment. And they really resonated with the fact that I'm sort of over here meeting with them. We eat together, we joke together, we chat together, we do all sorts of things together. But for me, the really good thing about it is it's a really cool lifestyle. So I'm thinking, I could do actually more of this. I'm coming across every sort of 3 or 4 months, but I actually just really enjoy it. And today was the first day in about a week and a bit that I've actually relaxed. I lay in bed, I read a book, and I thought, you know what? I don't have to go out at 6 o'clock.
Who even are you, Nik Cree? I've never heard. Who is this person?
I know. I didn't recognise myself. I got up and had to check myself in the mirror to make sure it was the same person here that arrived.
Goodness. Well, I don't want to go that far. I don't want to actually start relaxing. I mean, good grief. That's a step too far, but maybe one day.
Well, that kind of brings me on to the next question. When you're not working, what do you do?
I'm a dancer on a cruise ship. No, I'm not. I hate this question because you never feel more boring than when someone says, what do you do for fun? I have a family. I have a dog. I live near the beach. I've recently taken up paddleboarding.
Oh, nice.
I know.
That feels very normal.
I know. I'm normal. What are you saying, Nick?
Nothing.
I obviously practice the occult and worship Satan.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Yeah, but that's only on Wednesdays. No, just normal stuff. I like biking around, listening to music, going to the movies, hanging with friends. Sounds so boring, but yeah. I'm trying to write a book at the moment, which is taking up a fair bit of time. But yeah,
Fiction
I'm a
or
potterer.
non-fiction?
I've written a couple of. I'm trying to write a non-fiction. I think fiction. I think that won't happen until I'm properly old. And I don't have to do work and earn money and stuff. That time will probably never come. But no, it's a fiction book. It's called Be More Shark. It's a book about being more of a shark and being fearless in your business and not being a scaredy cat.
You won't sell that up in Queensland because they're really scared of sharks because they attack people.
Yeah, but I am going to attack people in a loving way. Like I'm just going to gum them. I'm not going to bite them. And it's going to have me on the cover dressed as a shark.
But
but the sharks I was talking about are the real estate agents up here.
Yeah. The fish oil salesman. The shark. Snake.
It's teaching you to be the shark, not be the shark bait. So
exactly.
People might be into it.
I reckon they would. And me dressed as a shark on the cover, if that doesn't sell books, I don't know what will.
Are you coming to WordCamp Brisbane?
I am presenting. I'm presenting on 10 ways to write something about copy, website, conversion copy, website, 10 tips, something like that. I'm presenting. I'm very excited.
You should totally wear a shark onesie to promote your book.
I might do that. I might just wear like a full-on shark mask. I might do that. I might just whip it out at the end. Like they have a onesie party at the end of. They usually have a onesie party afterwards, don't they?
Yeah, they did last time, didn't they? You could be the vegetarian shark.
I could. I could. Maybe I'll do that. You could be an octopus.
Also known as Bruce.
You could be an octopus. Bruce. Well done. God, you good pop culture reference there, Nik Cree.
I'm trying to source an adult-sized Wapu onesie for Ricky Blacker. So if anyone who's listening knows of anyone that can make that happen, that would be amazing.
Life goals.
Hey, so can I just circle back around to something? I know this is probably really boring, but I'm going to anyway. I was just curious about the fact that you said before that personal branding is, it's getting much harder to do this SEO thing, but it is for personally. Why is that? Is that because Google says we only want to know people now? They've changed their ways, or why?
It's more that there's kind of been a plateau in the number of searches. Obviously all the time through our existence, the number of searches made every year has gone up and up and up and up. And it's kind of plateaued for a little while now. So not as many searches. Also, the way the search engine results pages are changing. It's moving much more to featured answers and featured snippets. So what we're getting is no-click search results. So people aren't clicking through anymore because they get what they need from the search.
Google's just extracting the stuff and displaying it right in front of you.
Exactly. So, you have to have really compelling content to get people to actually click through to you. Also, more of the big brands have come on board with SEO. For a long time, SEO was seen as dodgy and nefarious. These days, more of the big brands are on board, but more small businesses. I mean, I've seen, I've had about 550 people take my big course, and it's not a cheap course. And every time I launch it, more and more people sign up. Like more and more people are getting that SEO is the way forward. So there's just more people competing for fewer searches. And, at the end of the day, the conversion, if I type in WordPress developer, there's so much competition, don't know who to pick. But if I type in Nik Cree WordPress developer, then I'm
Robey
more...
Lawrence comes up.
I should write a blog about Nik.
But people are more likely to convert. So it's not that it's... Obviously, it'd be great if we could all rank for copywriter, WordPress developer, but we realize it's just getting there's so many players on the field. So if you can just narrow that field by location, by niche. So maybe you're a bearded WordPress developer. I only want to work with someone who's got a beard. Or, someone has heard your name. Someone has heard your name. That's the most powerful thing. Word of mouth recommendation has always been the most powerful thing. It's true in real life and it's true on Google. So that's really the reason.
So does that also follow then? Does it follow then that people are looking for small business now to do business with rather than big business?
That's the feeling I get, and I don't have any statistics to back it up, but I do have an awful lot of people on my course who are working through all the time. And it just feels that, like, as Robey said, people want to deal with people, not brands. They want to be able to talk to the head honcho and not be palmed off to some minion. They want to be able to talk to the person who's doing the work, not some customer service place in Azerbaijan or wherever it may be. That people want to have a closer connection and feel like it's that whole thing of, when you buy from a small business, somebody does a happy dance, someone can pay their mortgage, someone can buy their kid a karate outfit. It's that kind of feel. And I think we all want to buy local. We all want to support small business. And I'm feeling that I do feel that that's a general direction in Australia. It might not be true for the world, but definitely true in Australia, I think.
So what about the whole thing? I've got a friend of mine who is a Google AdWords consultant. He's Google consultant through and through. And he thinks that, in fact, search is dead. That eventually what's going to happen is the first page of search is going to be dominated by Google Ads, and there really is no place in the web for search now, only to be able to optimize for paid advertising.
Well, it's funny. I'm actually presenting at Click, Engage, Convert in Melbourne on Is SEO Dead? And I actually reached out. I used the word reached out. I'm so sorry. It's such a revolting phrase. To SEO people all over the world, like Neil Patel and Rand Fishkin and Barry Schwartz and Yoast from Yoast. And
you're just dropping names now.
I am showing off. I'm totally showing off. And asked them that question. And people have been saying SEO is dead for years. It's not dead, it's evolving. I mean, the ads, there's actually fewer ads than there used to be. Remember, they used to be all down the side and underneath and on top? Well, now they're only at the top. We've obviously got local search, which is huge now, the map pack. I think still the statistics say that only about 20% of clicks go to the ads and 80% goes to the organic listings. So I don't think it's true. I think it's just evolving. It's, we now have a mobile first index. So we look at your mobile site before your desktop. Something like 60 to 70% of searches are being conducted on a mobile device rather than on desktop computer. And obviously voice search is on the rise. So people talking to their devices rather than typing in keywords. So it's evolving for sure. But will it ever be dead? No, because there will always be an index. There will always be content. It will always need to be graded in some way. And whether we use amazing AI or algorithms, there's going to be things that we need to check off, things that we need to do. The thing that I think is changing is that Google, ostensibly the biggest search engine, obviously in Australia, Google's getting better at replicating human behavior. So the way to think about SEO is less about a technical checklist and, I need to work the algorithm. It's like, what would a human want? What does human intent want? What annoys a human? Humans are annoyed by pop-ups and slow sites and unsecure sites. Google therefore changes the algorithm to penalize sites that do those things. It's just most of SEO is common sense. And most of what I teach, people are already doing. They just don't really realize what they're doing, maybe not doing it in the right order. But SEO is not dead. I refuse. I love it to be dead, but it's not dead yet.
And you mentioned and you mentioned voice before. That's a huge thing, especially it really brings home the point of just being conversational in your copy, when you're writing blog posts and pretending that you're talking to someone. Because when someone asks, like, say Google Home, for example, if you're asking Google Home a question, you're going to ask it in a conversational way. You're not just going to be like, horse, blue, feed. You're going to be, what do you feed a blue horse?
Is that the sort of thing you type into Google?
No, I don't type it. I say that to my Google Home.
You say it. So every night you ask Google that question.
Yeah.
And apparently
because I've got a blue horse and
You do. I've seen your blue horse. He's there right now. I can see him in the background.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But apparently you should ask Google what you should dress up for Halloween as, and you get some good answers. But that's it. It's, you know, people are like, oh, I don't want to do SEO because I don't want to have to use keywords all the time. And it's like, no, you don't have to. You just talk like a human. If you understand your audience, the questions that they're asking, the problems that they need solving, it's actually pretty easy to write content that matches. And, you know, with the whole featured answered and featured snippets thing, if you ask, what do I feed a blue horse? And you've literally written a blog post called What to Feed a Blue Horse, then Google will connect the dots. It's not rocket science. I think people fall down when they get overly formal on their websites. They try and talk like a professor and very professional. And then they're using words that humans don't use day to day. And that's often, I've just done about 15 10-minute audits of my students on my new course, and they've got things like, should you wish to purchase one of our products, you can inquire via a form of contact. And it's like, what are you doing? You know, it's like, you know, just talk normal, talk more normal. There's my top tip. That can be the meme.
Talk more vaguely normal.
Vaguely normal with your blue horse.
So are you doing sort of stuff with, let me rephrase that. Everyone that comes to do your course, are they DIYers that are coming to sort of do their own sites and do their own sort of DIY SEO? Or are they professionals from agencies that actually have heard about this Kate Toon's a famous person, want to come to learn from her? Or what sort of people are they?
It's a real mix. It's a lot of business owners, e-com store owners, you know, home businesses. It's marketing managers from big brands. So we've had some big digital marketing managers. It's WordPress developers who maybe, you know, are offering SEO services, want to make sure that they're really offering SEO, because, you know, a lot of maybe not so good WordPress developers think that all you need to do is install Yoast and you're set.
Is there more?
Nik, there is. Sorry to tell you.
You should do Kate's course.
such an idiot. I love it. And it's people who want to be SEO consultants, SEO copywriters. So it's a real mix. About 50% are just business owners, though, who, you know, maybe had a website built, they want to maintain it themselves. And I'll be honest, not all of them go on to continue to DIY. Some of them do then go back to WordPress developers or SEO consultants and hire them again, but they are the best clients because they actually understand what they're paying for. They understand the terminology. I just don't think you should ever pay for something you don't understand, not fully understand. You don't have to be an expert, but if like you're paying $5,000 for a website and someone else is charging $3,000 and you don't know the difference between why one is charging 3 and one is charging 5, I think you need to educate yourself just a little bit. So it's a big mix.
So some website developers are going to hate that because now they've got sort of someone who's going to keep them accountable, and they can't just sit back and do nothing and just charge sort of a horrible amount every month there just for doing nothing. And the client says, well, what did you do? We did lots of stuff. So yeah, they're accountable.
I'm making enemies all over the place. I'm going to get hate mail after that. But the good WordPress developers, the ones that want to really do a good job for their clients and they take satisfaction in their work, will be delighted, I think, because they, you know, when you've seen how long it takes to back up your site and update 17 plugins and optimize this page and fill out some meta descriptions and disable this on Yoast and check it, then you appreciate why your WordPress developer is charging you five hours a week, because it takes a long time. And you stop complaining about that and going, what are you doing? I don't understand. You actually appreciate the effort that's being put in and you feel good that you're not the one having to do it. So that's the vibe I take, Nik. You can take the negative view. I'm taking the glass half full view. All right?
I've just decided now I probably need to send all of my clients to you so that they can get trained before we even do anything, and then they can come back to me, and then
they'll appreciate you. They'll appreciate you.
Yeah, because I'm unappreciated.
Oh, you poor thing.
Do you have WordPress developers that go through your course and at the end they go, oh no, this is just too hard. Can you do it for me, Kate?
No, because I don't actually offer any SEO services or copywriting services anymore. I felt, and that's a good thing because it means I'm very impartial, which means when I do an audit of someone, I'm not invested in finding problems that aren't there. So no, I've had quite a lot of WordPress developers. I'm obviously, I know Troy and the WordPress Elevation group, and I've lots of people there have mentioned me. I think what the WordPress developers like is it really does add another string to their bow. They can confidently say that they do SEO properly, both on-site and off-site. Maybe they can offer additional services like keyword research and backlink building and blogger outreach and all that other good stuff. And, you know, a lot of people come on the course and they kind of know it, but it's the affirmation of being shown how someone else does it, because sometimes it's hard to admit what you don't know, and it's really great to have those gaps filled. And of course, everything's freely available on the internet, but there's so much conflicting information and advice, and also not knowing what's the priority. Like, am I better off changing my image alt tags? Is that going to make a difference? Or would I be better off knocking 20 seconds off my site speed? Where should I invest my time? Site speed, you know, and to have someone tell you that and feel good about it, I think that's almost sometimes what people are paying for. That the accountability and someone to just tell us what the hell to do. We all want to be told what the hell to do. Tell me what to do with my life.
Well, especially in this industry,
we all want that.
Like,
Nik definitely.
There's no curriculum, I guess. Like, you can't go to TAFE to learn how to be a WordPress consultant.
No. I
mean, which is where obviously WP Elevation comes in really well, because it kind of fills that gap. But any kind of curriculum in a traditional school system is just outdated before it's released.
Yeah, you can learn how to build a site, but you can't learn how to be a business person, I don't think. And I think that's the thing. Like, lots of people can build WordPress sites, but lots of people don't have successful WordPress building site businesses, because there's so much more to it. It's the relationships, the finances, the other skills, the diplomacy, you know, the outsourcing, and all of that is hard to learn. And you just have to be really old and experienced like Nik to be able to do all of that.
Well, I have to say that you're right. Not about the old parts. but I was just thinking back to when did I last touch a line of code? And it's actually been a long time ago. But that was the part that I really enjoyed, was sitting there with a glass of red wine, Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton playing on my Spotify, and having my headphones on, singing at the top of my voice, coding away, and of course everybody else in our household are just like covering their ears. They just can't stand it. But I really enjoyed it. But now most of my time is actually running a business. It's like,
it's different, isn't it? I'm so the same, Nik. I was talking to a friend who's a WordPress developer the other day. He said, I've got 2 sites to build today. And I was actually jealous, because I was like, I would love to just sit and build some websites, you know, not negotiate a deal with Blur and deal with customer service issues and sort out some integration with my Stripe, you know, just to sit and code a little website. And at the end of the day, have that satisfaction of having built something beautiful that's going to help someone's business. I miss it too. You know, it's all very well and good building up a big business and having all these things, but often it's good to get back. I think you should touch a line of code. Touch a line of code today, Nik. Do it. Touch it.
I might just, maybe I'll just write a plugin or something.
See, I'm
just install Yoast. There you go. That'll make
that's it. That'll be my fix.
I'm kind of in the middle stage of that. I'm like responsible for all the admin side and the, you know, negotiating proposals, but then I don't have anyone really who can do all of the coding stuff for me as well. So I enjoy doing it, but at the same time, I need to find time to do it as well as all the other stuff. So
it's a decision. It really is. And, you know, you have to really decide what you want to outsource. Do you want to outsource the development, or do you want to outsource the admin? You know, do you want to outsource? I don't think you can really outsource the business side of it, the negotiation, but I chose for a long time to just outsource the finances, the admin, the social media, the base, you know, the stuff that anybody could do. But I still did the copywriting myself. I've never outsourced copywriting. I'd never subcontracted it, because I would get it back and I would just change everything, and it felt pointless.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think a lot of people sort of think that the next stage is to have some big rock star empire with lots of things and all the people and
that's true. It's not the course.
It is. Which I haven't done, and I haven't done WP P elevation either, so I shouldn't really talk to it. But all I would say is that having done all of that and built this sort of empire of doom, it's not necessarily better. It's just different. And, you know, yes, maybe opportunities to make more money, but also a lot of opportunities to work a lot harder and be more stressed. So I think it's a definite choice. And if I had the choice again, I'm not entirely sure I would have gone down the path that I have. I love it now, but it was hard, very hard work.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as passive income, and there's no such thing as a 4-hour work week. Maybe for Nik, but not for me. So for me,
I'm going to work 4 hours in the next hour once I finish this.
Yeah.
You're up to your 4th block of 4 hours for today.
Exactly.
How's the red wine over there, Nik?
I have to say I have not ventured to try it over here.
Do not.
No. I remember going to China and tasting the red wine there, and it was a very disappointing experience. But I did an Irish bar here, and that was a real godsend because they were playing Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton.
God, what is he like with his Kenny Rogers? My goodness.
I know. Who'd have ever thought?
I know. Now we know you're a Dolly Parton fan. There's lots of mileage in that for sure.
Well, I'm just over here in my islands in the sun.
Well, good on you. Guys, I'm going to have to go. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that on the podcast, but I'm a guest in someone's home and I've been down in their cellar for a good hour. I should probably go and be sociable.
What, have you been polishing up all the red wine down there?
No, I've got some. My wine finished a long time ago. That's the real.
That's why you need to go.
Yeah, let's be honest. Will I see you both in Brisbane?
Yes,
I'll be there.
So yes, I'll be there.
Yes.
But I didn't get an application in to speak. I was too slack getting this trip organised.
Yeah,
so
we believe you, Nik. We believe you. You get rejected every time. It's fine. Just own it, man. I'm just messing. Well, look, I'll see you there. I'll see you there in my shark onesie, handing out fish oil tablets.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to wear my snake costume.
Oh, please don't.
This is going to be amazing.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you later. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for your time.
Lovely to see you. Bye, guys.
See ya.
I will. Bye.